Let me know when you're ready. Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge and the opening prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here tonight. Thank you for the blessings, opportunities, and the challenges you have bestowed on us. We ask for your wisdom and guidance as we discuss the matters at hand. Help us to work together as a united team with open minds and hearts, combining ideas for the greater outcome. We place this meeting in your hands. We pray in your most blessed name. Amen.
Okay, moving on to the approval of the agenda, which you have before you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Supervisor Baker, second by Swagel. Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the previous county board minutes. Would look for a motion for approval of the minutes. Supervisor Swagel, second by Supervisor Haskey. Any corrections, additions, questions on the minutes which you have reviewed? Nothing on the minutes? All in favor? Whoa, Supervisor Wagner, just in the nick of time.
Speak closer to the mic, please.
In the executive committee, in the chairman's report, there are a couple of grammatical things in there that I think are, one is to quote, review the plan. So there's something needs to be corrected there. And then it said, and then further down, or about in the middle of that paragraph, it says Olson notified that he county board. I don't know what.
I did not say that.
The county board or, yeah, I mean, or something else, but that's all I found.
Okay. Okay, anything else on the minutes? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Citizens input. Has anyone requested to speak? No one has requested to speak. Is there anyone who wishes to speak? Anyone who wishes to speak? No one wishes to speak. Moving on then to appointments.
Separately or together?
I would say let's take them separately.
Kewaunee County Census Subcommittee.
Do I have a motion? Supervisor Vollenweider. Second by Swagel. Any questions? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Kewaunee County Sheriff's Union Contract Negotiating Subcommittee.
Do I have a motion? Supervisor Baker, second by Supervisor Yonke. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Kewaunee County Human Services Director Jeffrey Woznicki.
Supervisor Wagner. And second by Lazansky. Any discussion? Supervisor Teske.
What kind of salary is he going to get and what kind of human services background does he have?
As far as the human services background, I believe, well,
I can answer that.
we'll let
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Phelps speak to it.
Certainly, I'll start first. The starting salary will be at step 13 at $48.85. Mr. Woznicki will no longer be receiving salary from his corporation counsel position. So therefore, from a salary standpoint, the county will actually receive a dollar savings because Mr. Wisnicki will still be acting in his capacity as county corporation counsel, as well as the full-time human services director. As for human services experience, I can tell you that as being corporation counsel for the last 13 years for Kewaunee County, that the corporation counsel is their first and probably foremost client in their office is the human services department. They deal with a number of placements. They deal with court cases for child protection, and they deal with any type of legal matters, such as when I first came and having to deal with harassment suits.
Any other questions? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Annual reports and other reports to the board as requested by the county board or committee. We'll move on to the administrator's report.
I have no report at this time, Mr. Chair.
Okay. We'll move on to committee reports. Highway Solid Waste, are there any questions? Executive Committee, any questions? Public Health and Veterans. Yes, sir.
Has anything changed with the masking?
Into your mic, please, Mr. Swagel.
Thank you, sir. Has anything changed with the masking or anything with
No, there would not be any changes on it. No, I mean, the Supreme Court made their decision.
Thank you.
So is there Cindy, we could take it at this time if you would like to. I assume there's things going on with the vaccine and so forth that you may wish to comment on.
Good evening. So COVID update, total cases in the county are at 2,612. We have 3 so far new this week, 34 deaths yet, so that hasn't changed in quite some time. We have 0 hospitalizations. We're currently following 15 active cases at this time. People have received first dose of vaccine, 3,463 in our county, and second dose, 3,074. So we sit roughly at about 35%, 36% of our county as vaccinated. Not exceptionally high in the state. State right now overall is at 41%, and that was this morning, so that probably is up since. So we could stand to do a little bit more vaccinating, but we are seeing our vaccination numbers drop off, as is most of the state this week. So I encourage everyone, if you have constituents that are looking for vaccine, encourage them to call the health department, encourage them to get vaccinated. State has told us that roughly 70% is their goal for vaccination rates. And then you'll see life return to normal, whatever that might be. So we've got a ways to go before we get there. So we're really encouraging as many people to get that vaccine as we can. Right now, as far as businesses, my agency has called just about every business that we could to offer that vaccine. Some have taken us up, some have not. We will go right out to the business to do so. Our large manufacturing is all done. Several of our large farms are finished. Many of them chose not to vaccinate. We are now this week offering it within the schools for kids 16 and up. So that population will be offered that vaccine as well. And we are seeing low numbers there too. So there again, as soon as we can get those groups vaccinated, hopefully we can return to a more normal state. Anyone have any questions? Jeff?
where in the county, Cindy, can you get a rapid test and what costs are associated with that?
And to my knowledge right now, no one in the county is offering rapid testing. We have testing that is available at Prevea here in town through the urgent care. We also have some of our Bellin sites and I believe Door County Ministry in Algoma that offer the PCR testing, which has a turnaround of about 48 hours. We've seen that testing time decrease. So at one point we're, 72 hours plus for that, and it's down quite a bit. Rapid tests right now can be received at some of the local places in Green Bay. So Prevea, Bellin, those kind of places do offer rapids, and you just have to find the closest testing location to you.
Does insurance just cover that typically, or is the cost?
All testing is free in the state of Wisconsin.
Testing is
yeah.
free. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, Cindy.
Supervisor
Chuck?
Wagner?
Cindy, I was wondering if you would comment on, are there various parts of the state that seem to be more or less willing to get the shots? I mean,
Yeah.
I just read something this morning. It was talking about, they're saying the red counties are not getting as many, not as many people getting shots as
Yeah.
the blue counties.
Correct.
Meaning, I would assume.
Democrat
places
versus
like-
Republican.
I would
Correct.
Same like Milwaukee County, Dane County.
Dane County is second highest in the state. Door County is first. So they're leading the way with vaccinations. They are close to 60%, I believe, vaccinated last that I looked. Dane was above 50. So, and I think it's just somewhat of a political atmosphere in those counties that lead that. Any other questions? Doug?
Did they tell you more about the Johnson & Johnson? Is it going to come back like soon? A couple
Yeah,
days?
we
weeks?
got the word about 3:00 this afternoon that we had to go ahead from the state to use it again. So we do have 135 doses in our office right now. So those can begin tomorrow with scheduling. And then we continue to offer Pfizer as well, which has been the vaccine that we've had from the start. But Johnson & Johnson is back on the market. They have tweaked their information sheet just a little bit to include that there is a rare chance of a clotting disorder. It still remains as 6 people out of, I believe, 7 million that got that.
I guess one other question, Cindy, and that is, how are you doing with your volunteers? I mean, are you getting enough volunteers?
Yeah, we are. We have
Okay.
outstanding volunteers that come almost weekly for us. They're doing a fantastic job. So we're doing good. Linda?
Somebody from Algoma did tell me that they thought the clinic at Fairgrounds went really smooth, how well it worked. So
Thank you. Yeah, we've gotten a lot of compliments on it. Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. UW Extension Committee, any questions? Land and Water. Anything further in Casco or since the minutes?
Well, I don't know. Supervisor Kinnard might be willing to comment a little bit on the Casco situation.
If you would.
I think since last time we talked, the Casco daycare I had brought up was having some issues. They were having work done on their well. I don't think I've reported since that's happened. Land and Water is aware that their well got re-sleeved, not re-drilled. They went down farther with the casing. They went from, I believe, a 12 to a 10, which still was not good enough. So they ended up running water throughout a weekend, and they did get their number down to 5. So they're still not using the water for the real small infants. They're still mixing their bottles out of bottled water just for safety reasons. They're concerned about it. But their well has proven to get a little bit better. My discussions with some of the local dairy farmers around Casco, I've called them, I've explained them, I've made it very clear that we have some issues in the village of Casco and we'd like to work together with them, and not just the village of Casco, town of Casco also. It's just the way our soil is in our area. So most of the farmers that I've talked to, big and small, have been open to say, what do you think we can do to help you out here type of thing. So they've been very helpful through the whole process. I'm hoping this isn't going to change overnight. This is something that's been going on for a while and nobody really has a direct answer to fix it. But our area is not the only one in Kewanee County that has high nitrates. And I know we're going to continue to work on it and hopefully we can make some progress.
Okay. Yes, Supervisor Teske.
I just have a question for Tim. Does it, because you're doing all the construction over there in that new subdivision, does that have something to do with that?
No, that has nothing to do with it, Linda. Actually, I'm encouraging anyone that is drilling their new well. There's 4 new houses going up right now in the village of Casco. Number 5's on the way. So there's a fair amount of construction, which I'm happy the news that's out there that our nitrates are high are not hurting people coming into Kewaunee County, at least into our little area over there. So I'm going to try to talk to each one of those new homeowners and encourage them to share their well results with us. Because after you drill a new well, you obviously have to have your water tested. Cindy and I just had ours tested again this week, and we came in at 12. So I'm not afraid to say that. Our well, we have an older well in the village of Casco, and ours is 12. So we're going to keep tracking that. I've been in touch with Davina. She's been tracking things. So we're going to peck away at it and see where we can go.
Any other questions for Land and Water? All right, thank you. Public Safety and Justice Committee. Finance and Public Property. Human Services Committee. Parks Promotions and Maintenance Committee. Yes, Supervisor Yonke, you have a question of your own committee.
No, it's a report.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if everybody knows the numbers for the winter park season, but the county's share of ticket sales money is $45,235. So that's pretty good. Third highest on record. Attendance, there was a total of 12,302 people. And the loan payment of $19,822 is paid.
Wow.
And Dave went and picked up a new Arctic fox and another bird that pooped on him on the way back. Arctic fox is really nice and white and fluffy.
Okay, so these aren't the statue animals.
No, those are fiberglass.
Well, that explains it pooping on them then a little better. Okay. Thinking of this, one of the fiberglass ones.
No, they're those fiberglass statues are on a slow boat from China.
Yeah. Well, they're easier to clean up after.
Yep.
So, all right, excellent. Any other questions for Parks and Rec? Business Development Loan Fund Committee. KCEDC.
Mr. Chair, just so
Yes.
everyone has that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Gary, if you, I wasn't sure if you were going. Just so everyone is aware, you have 3 months worth of minutes from the KCDC board. They're in front of you. And if you have any questions, Ben Nelson, who's the executive director of KCDC, is in the back, so he can answer any questions you may have. And the annual dinner is this Thursday out at Northbrook. $25 a ticket. They corralled some idiot from the county to talk about the county, and you can guess who that is. So thanks.
Speakers are in short supply, huh? Okay. Anything else on KCEDC? Broadband Study Committee. Yes.
Just a comment that the new tower that is at the northeast corner of County S and County AB, north of Luxembourg, they started construction yesterday of that tower. So
I was
there's
not aware of that. That's good
poking holes in
news.
the ground and pouring concrete and stuff like that.
Excellent. Very good. Hopefully the others will be right behind then. Okay, very good. Yes.
There is a
Supervisor
big
Teske.
billboard sign on Highway 54 too about broadband and bug tussle. I think it's around by Widener Lumber.
Oh, I never go that way. Okay, Supervisor Dell.
Is any going up and going right now? Any?
Not at this time, no.
None?
Mm-mm.
So,
No, they have to get the towers up.
so that whole March thing was
Didn't happen.
I can answer if you'd like, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Part of the problem, and we had a meeting, Supervisor Dell, we had a meeting with Bug Tussle, and this is true throughout the industry and plenty of other places, is that how Supervisor Yankee talked about a slow boat to China for the fiberglass animals. There's an even slower boat that is bringing computer chips and the like from China. And so that's what's caused a lot of this delay. It's not that they aren't ready to go. It's not that they aren't trying to, as had been said, that they're trying to put holes in the ground and towers up. It's they don't have the components to get the equipment up on the existing towers. So as soon as they get that, they're going to have that stuff up on the towers.
And when is that? They predict in the next month?
What I try to tell people is, honestly, I try to say late spring, early summer. Again, they're hoping by that time.
Because I got quite a few people asking me, and I said, "Wow, March they were going to get going."
Well, and if they are interested, and I'm not, they can call Bug Tussle, because to try to get signed up ahead of time, they don't have to pay anything because they're not getting service. But if they get signed up ahead of time, as soon as things are live and the switch is turned on and it's hot, then they can get service.
They are pre-selling,
Yes.
but there is no way for them at this point to give us an exact date because they don't know when that equipment is going to be available.
And they do know where all the towers are, for sure. That even the ones that they're putting up.
Mr. Felt, do they have all of them? There was Tish Mills. Is that settled?
The only one and I believe that they're close to settling the one in Tish Mills. They were trying to do a tower that did not work, so they're looking for a silo. But all the other towers and existing towers are good to go.
Okay. Anything else on broadband? Okay, Public Safety Facility Study Committee. We did meet. We have been collecting information, and ultimately that committee is not going to, make a recommendation per se, but bring information to this board that ultimately, will provide different paths forward. So basically kind of two different areas that are being looked at. One is, there have been a lot of questions, and I know there are people that, don't throw things when I say this. I know there's people who have strong feelings on it, but there have been a lot of questions about the actual cost of, repairs on the current building. I think that we do have an obligation to get those actual prices. It's not, the board isn't, or this committee isn't going to make recommendations on it, but there have been a lot of questions about it. People want to know, what are the costs? Well, we're not, without spending a lot of money, we're going to work on getting that information for people. And part of that would be contracting of beds with other counties. So there are 3 other counties that did express a willingness to enter into a 5-year contract for the contracting of beds, because that was one of the concerns would be, well, if you contract, they can call you and tell you, they can call you on Friday and tell you, or Monday, tell you to have your inmates out by Tuesday or whatever it is. There are 3 counties that are willing to, would be willing to consider a 5-year contract. So one of those, using the number, the 10 beds, and then including transportation, all of the other costs, just for the beds and the travel, with the low one would be $856,000 for the 5 years. And then, of course, assuming that you had to add extra officers, if that was the way that you chose to transport, but that's not necessarily something you would have to do, but we threw that out just for fun to get that information, to give people an idea. And Mr. Felt put that together, and I believe his numbers are far from conservative, which is good. We don't want to be accused of using low numbers. That would be over the 5 years, would be $1.1 million. So that would give you about, over the 5 years, that would give you about 2 million. That does not include, we do not have the information yet for what would be repairs that would need to be done to the current jail. And no, that would not address any of the current safety issues. That would not be taken care of if that path would ultimately be followed. So I'm aware of that, but we are collecting the information as was requested, and we'll be bringing, as we get it, we'll be bringing it before the full board. So that's one side of it. The other side is looking at other possible projects, similar projects that could possibly, that could be done, that would have, one side of it would be lower square footage. So, looking at, this is the project that we were bringing forward here is similar to counties that the one county is 2.5 times our size. So we'll look at possible other projects that would be possibilities. So I mean, the project that we brought forward, was a debt service of $21 million. So, but after that, and we're talking in terms of debt service. The actual cost of that is the building was $20 million, roughly. But then the additional staffing per year is another $1 million a year. So over the 20 years, that's 20 million on building, that's 20 million on staffing, that's 40 million. So I know there's people feel that's very reasonable and we should spend it. And I mean, I'll be happy at whatever point, if there's a strong desire to bring that forward for a vote again, we can certainly do that. But these are the different things that are being looked at to try to see if we cannot find some sort of a consensus for moving forward. Questions? All right. Moving on. First reading of ordinance, we have none. Consideration of resolutions. Mr. Loinin, you were going to give us instructions.
Okay, so we're going to use the voting software to do these resolutions. You're going to see on your screens Okay, so we're gonna use the voting software to do these resolutions. What you're going to see on your screens are going to be 3 buttons: a no, a yes, and abstain. So when the resolution is red and you're given the go to vote, you just push the button that you want to vote. You're going to see that the county clerk is going to receive some information up here. And then when she receives all 19 votes, since there's only 19 tonight, then she will stop the vote and you will see if it passes or doesn't pass. Then she's going to take a brief moment to record that vote and send it to a printer. Once she does that, then she'll start with resolution number 2, and we'll do the process all over again for all 3 of the resolutions. Any questions?
Mr. Loining, what happens if someone were to by chance strike the wrong key? Let's say they wanted to vote yes, instead they voted no.
I believe we can change the vote up here.
Okay.
So anything that have to do with any salary increases, we'll just change it to yes, and then we'll be good. So no laughter. Okay.
Question.
Yes.
Is it going to show who voted how?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, here we go.
All right. Are we ready for the first resolution?
Yes. So it should show on your screens now.
We need to read it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Celebrating the life and honoring the memory of William J. Wolski.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Romden, second by Supervisor Wagner. Discussion? Supervisor Vollenweider.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my recommendation to submit this following amendment to be included, whereas William was commissioned as second lieutenant in the U.S. Army Infantry in 1971 and continued to serve in the Army Reserve until 1994, when William retired as lieutenant colonel. I make that recommendation to make that amendment.
So you make, there is a amendment. We need a second on that, right? Supervisor Swagel, is there discussion on the amendment?
If I may, Mr. Chair, for those of you, you have the amended resolution at your desk in front of you. That line was added. I forget the number of it, but 21 and 22 are the lines that were added from what the resolution was in your packet.
Okay. So do we, if this is already in there, do we need the amendment if it's been added to this?
It wasn't in the packet, Mr. Chair. You can simply do a voice vote on the amendment.
Okay. All in favor of the amendment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So the amendment is approved. So the version you have before you that was given to you upon arrival is the version that you will now vote on, which, if I'm reading this correctly, some of you, 6 of you already have voted on it? Or am I reading that wrong?
Yeah, some have.
So some of you
So you can
voted early.
see
Some of you
on
are
the
from
not voted
Chicago.
side, if you haven't voted.
Vote
it's gonna
early
show
and
you.
vote often.
Can you vote often? Will it record your vote more than
Well,
once?
some of you are voting early, so I assume we can vote often too.
We're in Chicago?
Might I suggest in the future we hide that because you don't want people watching the vote before they vote, but that's my take on that.
Should we, Mr. Loining, is it possible in the future to hold this off? I have a button here that says stop. Can I stop it from?
I mean, you could certainly go like that and then vote, and then it's not on the screen. Everybody else sees.
That's the easier low-tech version.
The only people that see are the people who are chairman on the device.
So they
Everybody
don't.
else doesn't see that.
So I'm the only one seeing that they're voting early.
Well, we can see 14 yes votes right now.
Yeah.
Right, you just can't see who it is. The clerk and the chair would be able to see who, I believe.
Well, I'm a believer in having election day, and I think that it should be voted on when discussion is finished. Otherwise, if people are voting before discussion is concluded, then there really isn't any point in having the discussion.
I'm just going to show it now because there are people that haven't voted.
I know this is the first time we've done it, so I understand.
Supervisor Baker, Supervisor Yonke. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes, now vote. If you haven't voted, please vote now.
There we go.
So you got all 19. Stop.
So
And you can see on the screen that 19 yeses.
I was curious to see if you were right.
Well, I think that went pretty smoothly. And perhaps the next time it'll go even better. Okay, whenever you're ready. I don't know what else you have to do for that to be finalized.
A resolution supporting increased funding for aging and disability resource centers.
Do I have a motion, Supervisor Teske, second by Supervisor Lazansky? Is there discussion? Supervisor Swagel?
Who's going to pay for this?
You are. In the end.
Funding would be an increase as part of the state budget.
The taxpayer.
It sounds very expensive.
It could be. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by say, or don't signify. Now you may vote.
Supervisor Lucas.
Still not registering?
No.
27 million.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So you put it up there now so they can see?
Oh, you want us to put it up there when?
After they vote, I
yeah.
think we should put it up, absolutely.
Sorry. We're gonna go to 3 because we already got rid of it.
I can.
Oh, okay.
You can pull
Well, that's fine for today, but I think we should have a public viewing for sure. Somebody vote more than once?
Sorry, there was 18 yes, 1 and 1 no.
Okay. We won't be able to put it up there this time, but I think you can all guess who the no was.
Thank you.
Well, I didn't say it. We'll move on to the next resolution.
Procedural question here.
Yes.
Shouldn't the chair announce the motion passed or failed? Motion carried, motion not carried?
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to mention that. So if you vote and there's a result, the result is not formal or official until the chair announces the result. So that gives you a brief opportunity to say, you know what, I changed my mind. When the
Okay.
chair announces the vote is final, that's when you're basically speak now or forever hold your peace,
Okay.
and that's final.
Okay. So before I announce that, did you care to vote, change your vote? I was only, yes. Anyone? Motion carries. I'm just kidding. Sort of. Next resolution.
A resolution requesting the state of Wisconsin to take action to address the public defender crisis.
Is there a motion? Supervisor Wagner, second by Supervisor Baker. Discussion? No discussion? You may register your vote. Who's, is it Lucas again?
Too soft and gentle.
Too soft and gentle. Oh, yes. So yes, 18 yes, 1 opposed, motion carries. All right. Moving on to consideration of ordinance read at previous county board meeting, whenever you're ready.
Kewaunee County Sales and Use Tax Ordinance. Fiscal impact. County sales tax collections to continue until December 31st, 2026. County sales tax revenues for 2020 were approximately 1.3 million.
A motion, Supervisor Mastelaar, so moves, and second by Haskey. All right, Supervisor Mastelaar, tax and spend kind of guy. Any discussion on that motion?
Take it from those of us that have it.
We're going to. Any other discussion? Yes, sir, Supervisor Swaggle.
So what is it exactly right now? And is it going to stay at that for the whole time?
It's going to stay at that. It's what we are doing currently.
Thank you.
It merely keeps doing what we've been doing.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, you may register your vote at this time. Or yes, now you can. There we go.
Oh, I gotta do that.
I see 19 registered, right?
I wonder if you can scroll down on that middle category, I guess, so you can see them all, yeah.
So 18 in favor, 1 opposed. That's correct. All registered correctly. Motion carries. Okay. We'll move on to communications when you're ready.
From Wood in Portage County, conducting a county-wide advisory referendum on clean water now for Wisconsin. From Washington County, an advisory resolution supporting legislation to provide an increase in criminal and ordinance violation surcharge. From Washington County, advisory resolution supporting legislation to remove requirement for duplicate copies of a transcript for application of a search warrant. Washington County, advisory resolution supporting pending legislation to amend hearing timeframes for certain juvenile cases. From Eau Claire County, request the state of Wisconsin strengthen its hate crime statute, Wisconsin Statute 939.645, to provide enhanced security to members of Wisconsin's marginalized communities. In Green Lake County, resolution for opposition to changes in wildlife damage abatement and claims program.
Thank you. Kewaunee County events. Are there any? Yes, Supervisor Lazansky.
So coming up on June 26th is a VIP Smokehouse Jamboree, and both Ginny and I are on the planning committee, and we have tonight here with us some tickets to sell from the ping pong ball drop. So if anybody would like to buy one ticket for $5 or 5 for $20, we'd be happy to sell them to you. The prizes are $500, $200, or $100. You do not need to attend to win.
Thank you. Any other events? Okay. No comments from the chair at this time. Meeting dates for the next county board meeting, we already have scheduled. May 18th, our next meeting at 6 p.m. June 15th at 6 p.m. The proposed date for July, which, as you know, we try not to have that meeting, but we will schedule it in case we should need it. Is there a motion for that? Supervisor Wagner, July 20th at 6, second by Supervisor Dell. Anybody that does not work for? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Would look for a motion to adjourn. Supervisor Wagner, second by Supervisor Vollenweider. Any discussion on that? All in favor of the motion to adjourn signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, not this time. Okay, we're adjourned. Kind of quiet from the peanut gallery this month.